see how this goes, again, I just came up with this idea yesterday, or just, after the talk, being like, oh, I don't have these videos. And we'll see how it goes. So, earlier, can I hold this up? All right. Earlier this year, I started getting emails about this book, The Plant Paradox, which purports to show the hidden dangers in healthy foods that cause disease and weight gain, foods like beans and whole grains and tomatoes. Why? Because of lectins. Lectins, which is a rehashing of the blood type, discredited blood type diet for you Capricorns out there, which just keeps coming back, just like Atkins keeps coming back, but this is just like the next manifestation of the blood type diet. Yeah, but unlike that one, this is written by an MD, which, if you have seen my video series on how much nutrition is actually taught in medical school, you realize that having an MD is effectively an anti-credential when it comes to writing diet books, because basically it's advertising to the world that you have received little or no training whatsoever in what you're writing about. Dr. Atkins was, after all, a cardiologist, for goodness sake. All right, but look, you want to give the benefit of the doubt. Right? The problem is it doesn't even kind of pass the sniff test, right? I mean, if lectins are bad, then beans would be the worst. And so bean counters would presumably find that bean eaters cut their lives short, whereas the exact opposite may be true, because legumes, beans, split peas, chickpeas, and lentils may in fact be the most powerful dietary predictor of survival in older people in countries around the world. You want to know how long the population is going to live? If there's one question you could ask about their diet is, how many beans do you eat? And the reason I want to show these, because these are all, I have detailed videos going deep into each of these topics, so you can just jot down them and watch later on. As Dan Buettner has pointed out in his Blue Zones work, lectin-packed foods are the cornerstone of diets of the healthiest, longest-lived populations on the planet. That's what I mean by the sniff test. Like, wait a second. If beans are bad for you, wait a second, why does the Venn diagram, see the little Venn diagram of common threads that all the longest, healthiest populations live by, it's plant-based diets in general, and legumes in particular in their daily diets. That's a common thread for longevity around the world. The most lectin-lush food there is beans. Okay. And if lectins are so bad, then whole grain consumers would just be riddled with disease. And, of course, if you look at, when was this review published? So this was last year. You can see that a meta-analysis, a compilation of studies, found that whole grain intake is associated with a reduced risk of coronary heart disease. Oh, you mean the #1 killer of men and women? Yes. Strokes too, and total cancer, and mortality from all causes together, meaning people who eat whole grains tend to live longer, and fewer respiratory diseases, infectious diseases, diabetes, and all non-cardiovascular, non-cancer causes to boot, like lets you not get hit by a bus or something. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but and not just in population studies, and that's important to point out. So, for example, if you look at this video, I show you can randomize people into whole grain interventions to prove the cause and effect benefits of whole grains, and the same with tomatoes. So, if you can randomize women to a cup and a half of tomato juice a day or water, that's the control group, and all that nightshade tomato lectin, what does it do? It reduces systemic inflammation. Or, very similar study, has a waist slimming effect, right? So give people about a cup of tomato juice, cup and a half. It reduces their waist circumference, as well as reduces their cholesterol and inflammation as well. Okay, so when people told me about this book, I was like, okay, let me guess. He sells some line of lectin-blocking supplements. Let me just hazard a guess there. And what do you know? Lectin Shield, you can assist your body in its fight against lectins for only $80 a month. It's only like $1,000 a year. Hold on. Which is a bargain for pleasant bathroom visits. That was... And of course, that's just one of many you can go through. He's got tons of these that he's selling. This is his website. And so it comes out to be about $8,000 or $9,000 a year to follow his program. Oh, did I mention he also has a skincare line? Yeah, he's got a skincare line. And so for only $120, you can firm and sculpt all you want for an extra $120. All that much more affordable, though, if you join his VIP club, of course. All right, but you still want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay. People ask me all the time to comment on some new blog or book or YouTube video, and I have to remind them, there are 100,000 peer-reviewed articles in the scientific nutrition literature every year, and I can hardly keep up with those, right? But people kept emailing me about this book. And so I was like, fine, okay, I will check out the first citation, all right? I'll do one, because what you do is you go through every single citation, you say, okay, so here we go. Chapter 1, here's citation 1. Look, forget everything you thought you knew was true. Diet books love to say that. Okay, so what? Forget everything you know. Well, guess what? Eating shellfish and egg yolks dramatically reduces total cholesterol. That's the first cited statement in the book. Wait, egg yolks dramatically reducing cholesterol? Really? What the heck is this citation here? Have I been missing something? It was just so bold, right? So confident. I was like, oh, what? Okay, well, here we go. Okay, so let's see, where am I? Okay, so where are we? Okay, so this is the paper. So this is the paper he cites. And here, so let's actually look at it. And poof, there it is. Okay. And by now, for those Nutrition Facts fans out there, you know how these studies go. How do you, in fact, I'm going to, so you can't see it. Now, those of you who've really been eating your greens may still be able to pick that up, but, okay. How do you show a food food reduces cholesterol. So you can see this is the effect of shellfish. All right. So if you want to show that shellfish, like shrimp, you want to show shrimp reduces cholesterol. You're part of Big Shrimp. It's kind of ironic, actually. But you're Big Shrimp. You got lots of money. You got stockholders. You got BMWs to buy. And so how do you design a study to show that your food, shrimp, Coca-Cola, whatever you're in the business of selling, lowers your cholesterol? How do you do it? Anybody? Let's say anybody?
Compare it to something worse.
Excellent, right? And so that's a common drug industry tactic, right? If you have a new fancy drug, you don't, compare it to the best drug on the market. You compare it to some crappy drug or some inadequate dose of a good. Okay, right. So how could you possibly do that? Well, this is what they did, and this is actually the exact same thing the egg industry did once. The beef industry was a classic example of this. So you remember that beef study, the BOLD study? So if you go on any beef website, they talk about the BOLD study, the beef and something lean diet, whatever. So what they did is they added beef to people's diet and their cholesterol got better. Remember this? I mean, you should just watch the video. But, so they added beef to people's diet and cholesterol went down. Wow! How'd you do that? They removed so much cheese and chicken from their diet that overall their saturated fat actually went down. So they removed so much animal fat and added a little bit of meat, and then you could actually, they cut animal fat, and so of course cholesterol goes down. So here we go. Let's see what they did here. Okay, can you see this little yellow? Okay, so they added shellfish and they removed meat, cheese, and eggs. So much so that the overall saturated fat, they took out so much meat, dairy, and eggs that the saturated fat, let me see, pull that out a little bit. So there was an oyster, clam, and crab, and squid, mussel, shrimp diet. They dropped saturated fat about 50%. These are percentages. So 67% drop, so 40, 50. So they cut saturated fat levels in half by removing so many eggs. They removed eggs. They removed cheese and meat. And so what happens when you cut animal fat consumption in half? Well, obviously your cholesterol goes down. So these percentages too dropped about 10%, a little less over here, which is really surprising. Like, wait a second, you cut saturated fat in half and still couldn't get a drop with shrimp. But anyway, okay. So take it back. What this study showed is that if you remove meat, cheese, and egg yolks from people's diet, their cholesterol drops, right? That is the paper. That's the paper. That's this number one here. That's the paper cited to show that egg yolks dramatically reduce cholesterol, right? That's just unbelievable. That's just like I have so little respect for my readers. I can just boldly put a citation I know they're never going to look at because it shows the opposite of the truth. And in fact, if you look at those kind of studies directed to God, you can go way, way back. This is one of the classic egg studies. Let's see. You remove cholesterol from people's diet, cholesterol goes down. And then, add eggs. What happens? Right? Do you even need to know the statistics on this? Right? You add eggs to people's diets, and their cholesterol shoots back up. I mean, like, how dare he says that? First cited statement in the book, egg yolks dramatically reduce cholesterol, the opposite of what this science shows. And look, it's not some like harmless foolishness like coming out and saying the earth is flat, right? Heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women. This could actually really hurt people. So much for my benefit of the doubt. Yes?
Does that have any aspect of being illegal?
What? No! You can publish anything! Oh my God! No, that's such a great one. Wait, can you just lie in diet books? Obviously, you haven't read many diet books, right?